Hi there. Welcome to Anima T1D. My name is Lisa. I am a diabetes educator and also have type 1 diabetes.
My name is Susan. My daughter Mia has type 1 diabetes.
And my name is Kelsey, and I am a mental health counselor. In this video, we learn what stress is, ways to manage it, and when to reach out for support from a mental health provider. Please remember that this is for educational purposes only and is not meant to replace your doctor or care team. Hi, Lisa. Happy to see you again.
Hey, Kelsey. Thanks for being able to meet for lunch today.
And thank you for suggesting it. How have you been?
Honestly, I've been feeling really stressed out lately. There's so much going on. Seems like it all keeps piling up, and I just can't catch a break.
I understand. Do you want to talk more about stress during lunch?
Yes, let's talk more about it.
Stress is such an important and relatable topic because we all experience it and it can have such a big influence on most parts of life. I'm happy to talk more about it.
What even is stress? I mean, I definitely know when I'm feeling stressed, but when is something considered a stressor?
A stressor is anything that causes a person to feel stressed. Stressors can be events, like an upcoming doctor's appointment, or a stimulus, like getting a sensor error on your CGM. When we are exposed to an event or stimulus, like when the CGM sensor goes off, our brains go through a process called appraisal, where we determine if the situation is stressful and to what extent. If something is perceived to be challenging or threatening, it is considered a stressor. Then, our brains decide how to approach the stressor using various coping strategies. Whether we think we have enough coping resources to manage the stressor is related to how stressful the stressor is.
I'm guessing that when we have enough coping strategies or the right approach for coping, then the event or stimulus won't be as stressful.
Right. Stress, or the reaction to the stressor, is more related to how we appraise the stressor rather than the actual event or circumstance.
That's really interesting. So this means that what is considered to be a major stressor to one person may not be to another person.
Yes, stress is pretty subjective. Stress can also feel different for each person. How do you know that you've been feeling stressed out lately?
I've been feeling it in my body mostly. My muscles feel tense, especially in my neck and shoulders. I've been getting more headaches, and it's harder to fall asleep at night because I can't stop thinking about everything I have to do. I just feel overwhelmed most of the time.
Sounds like you've been dealing with a lot and noticing some mental and physical signs of stress. Stress can have both mental and physical effects on people. When we experience stress, there are various physiological processes that occur in our bodies, such as the release of stress hormones, like adrenaline and cortisol, and increases in heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing rate. These processes are automatic and useful in the context of acute stress, but can contribute to adverse health outcomes when experienced for prolonged periods of time in chronic stress.
That's really good to know. Would stress be considered a type of disease or medical condition?
Stress is not considered a type of physical or mental health condition. However, stress can worsen some physical or mental health conditions or increase the risk of some mental or physical health conditions.
Can stress impact diabetes?
It certainly can. The release of stress hormones into the bloodstream can impact blood sugar levels. Stress hormones can also make it harder for insulin to work as efficiently, so you might notice stubborn high blood sugars despite taking the correct insulin dose and correction factors as prescribed.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that it takes longer for highs to come back into range when I'm more stressed.
Stress can also impact our behaviors. As mentioned, this will be different for everyone, but sometimes it can be harder to follow healthy behaviors, like regular physical activity and eating well, when dealing with stress. Of course, we know that those lifestyle behaviors also have a big impact on diabetes management.
They sure do. Let's finish our lunch and chat more after.
Hi, Lisa. What a pleasant surprise. We just finished lunch and were on our way out when we saw you here.
Oh, hi Susan and Mia. This is my friend, Kelsey. How are you?
Lunch was good. I've been so stressed lately that just going out to order food is a huge treat.
We were just chatting about stress. Do you want to join us?
Sure. Thank you.
So, Susan, what's been going on with you?
Oh, wow. Well, a lot of things. We recently moved into a new house, and that's been great, but it's a lot of work, especially in the middle of the school year. I also recently got promoted at work, which I'm proud of, but comes with a lot of new responsibilities.
And now I have my own room.
That's awesome, Mia. And congrats on your new house and promotion, Susan. Those are very exciting things, but it also sounds like they're causing some stress in your life.
Thanks, and yes, exciting but stressful, which is a little confusing. I thought feeling stress only meant that something bad was happening.
There are different types of stressors. Positive stressors are called eustress and refer to things that are positive changes in life that feel challenging, but lead to growth and have positive effects on life. Moving to a new house and getting promoted at work are great examples of eustress.
I do feel very excited about the house and new work roles. They are just big changes right now that come with new challenges, but I know I can get through them.
Eustress typically brings positive feelings like excitement, pride, or accomplishment, and people usually recognize that there are challenges present, but they are equipped to manage them and benefit from them. Eustress can be motivating.
That sounds very different from the stressors I shared about before. Is there a name for the other kind of stress?
Stressors that do not bring some sort of benefit or positivity to our experience are considered distress. Distress is often when people think of when they describe stress. Distress is harder to cope with and often leaves people feeling like they don't have coping capacity. Distress over long periods of time can decrease motivation and have other negative effects on health.
We've also had some negative stressors recently. Our new house is in a different school district, so Mia has started at a new school. I've been meeting a lot with the teachers and staff to get some plans in place for diabetes management. That's been a lot, having to explain all of this to new teachers, but so far they seem understanding. Everyone's so busy, it's hard to schedule meetings.
That is a lot. Mia, what do you think of your new school?
I like it so far. I have some new friends, so now I'm happy to go to school.
The first few days at the new school were harder. Mia didn't really want to leave me, and she was very tearful, so drop-offs were tough in the morning. Now she can hardly wait to jump out of the car and run inside to be with her friends.
Mia, I'm glad to hear that you are liking the new school and have made some new friends. What has made it easier to go to school now?
At first, I just didn't want to leave my mom. I was a little scared to be in a new place with new people. But now that I know I have friends there, and how nice my teachers are, I'm not scared to go to school.
I'm glad you are enjoying school, Mia.
So, what are some ways to manage stress, especially when it's having negative impacts?
There are lots of ways to manage stress, and it's ultimately up to each person to figure out what works best for them.
Since there are different types of stressors, it is understandable that there will be different ways to cope with the stress somebody experiences.
Exactly. It is expected that we all use different coping approaches or stress management strategies that make sense for the context of the stressor and whatever else is going on in life. I think it's good for us to know about lots of options, and then be able to pick and use the options that seem most fitting when we are going through different stressors. Coping that is helpful and healthy is called adaptive coping.
What are some examples of adaptive coping approaches that somebody might use?
One type is called problem-focused coping, which happens when somebody tries to directly change the stressor or fix the problem. Another type is called emotion-focused coping, which happens when somebody attempts to reduce their stress by attending to their emotional needs that are in reaction to the stressor. There is also meaning-focused coping, which is done when people focus on what kind of deeper meaning they can gain from the stressor. The last main type of coping is social support, which happens when people reach out for support from others, whether that just means talking about the stressor or receiving something like meals when sick.
I didn't realize that there were so many types of coping. Are there just as many stress management strategies?
There are so many strategies for managing stress, and it will vary from person to person. Some people like to use physical activity, like walking, running, dancing, or practicing yoga, as an outlet for stress. Others might prefer more contemplative practices that align with their religious or spiritual views like prayer or meditation. There are also cognitive-based strategies that we can use like reframing the situation or bringing some balance to our thinking patterns so we aren't ruminating over feeling stuck in a state of stress. What are some of your favorite ways to manage stress?
I like to journal so I can write down my thoughts and feelings. This way they don't feel so heavy inside of me. I also like listening to music.
I really like to draw. I also like playing with our dog.
Since I tend to hold stress in my body, I really like deep breathing. I also like progressive muscle relaxation, which is a practice of scanning through your body and purposefully tensing different muscle groups and then releasing that tension. Social connection is an important value of mine, so I make sure to plan to spend time with friends and family to help balance out my stress levels when I've been working a lot.
Those are great strategies. Identifying your values, or what is important to you in life, can also help you find stress management strategies that apply for you. Anything that helps you feel nourished, grounded, and calm can be a stress management strategy. Stress is a normal part of life. Stressors are events or stimuli that cause somebody to feel stress. What is considered a stressor to one person may not be considered a stressor to another. This is based on a process called appraisal, which is how each of us identifies the extent to which a stressor is stressful. There are also different types of stress. Eustress is a positive stressor, like starting a new job or moving to a new home. Distress is a negative stressor, like the death of a loved one. Sometimes stress motivates us to get things done, and sometimes stress is a barrier to getting things done. Everyone is affected by stressors differently, with some more easily than others. Remember, stress is not a disease or type of mental or physical health condition. Rather, it is something that all people experience. Some mental health signs of distress include thinking a lot, difficulty concentrating, and experiencing negative emotions like anxiety, irritability, or overwhelm like Lisa shared. Some physical signs of stress could include headaches, stomach aches, body tension, changes in blood pressure, heart rate, or breathing rate, sweating, or weakened immune system, which may increase likelihood of catching viruses. Sometimes people experience appetite or sleep changes, or have difficulty engaging in routine self-care behaviors. Children may experience behavior changes, like more clinginess to parents or caregivers, like Mia experienced when starting at her new school. Additional changes may include mood swings, greater emotional outbursts that can be rooted in sadness, fear, aggression, or irritability, regression to past behaviors that are currently not developmentally appropriate like thumb-sucking or bedwetting, or withdrawal from wanting to participate in usually pleasurable activities. Everyone can feel stress differently though, so there is no one clear presentation of physical or mental health signs of stress. Different types of stressors can have different impacts on somebody's health, quality of life, and diabetes management. Therefore, it is important to check in with yourself to identify current stressors in your life and how they are impacting you so that you can find and use different coping approaches to manage the stress.
Thanks so much for meeting for lunch, Kelsey. Chatting with a friend about stress was definitely a helpful stress management strategy for me today. And it was great to run into you, Susan and Mia as well.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed learning more about stress and coping. I'm going to be more intentional about checking in on my stress levels so that I can manage my stress before I get to a place of being too overwhelmed.
I want to do that too. Sometimes I work and work and work without taking breaks, but really those breaks can help alleviate some stress during the day.
I also want to spend some more time thinking of fun ways for both Mia and me to reduce stress together.
What awesome plans to proactively manage stress. Through this playlist, we will learn what mental health is, common mental health challenges that people with diabetes experience, and strategies to support mental well-being. To learn more, check out the resources in the video notes.
Please remember that this is for educational purposes only and is not meant to replace your doctor or care team.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.